I believe that this session will transform somebody's life forever. I always say that if I say yes on your platform, I am not saying yes for saying sake. I'm saying yes because I know that whatever I will say or contribute will either plant a seed that will change somebody's life forever or be a major contribution that will turn anybody's life forever. So I always say something funny. I don't doubt my calling. I don't doubt my anointing. I may doubt how you listen and how you understand. So I hope that we come prepared. And Henry was just talking about when he was talking about when they were at the beginning phases of establishing this amazing institution. You see, I always think in terms of continents and the global landscape. I was like, why am I not seeing Africa in this? If I don't say Africa or the global on the name, you can start local, but think at that level. And of course, I believed in his capacity and that of Paul that they could take Africa on this. And that also was based on where I could anticipate. You see, I do a lot of work and research on the future of work and the future of nations. And I get to work with experts and we anticipate where would the nations be in 30 years from now. And I want to tell you that I trust what Ari will teach. I trust what Paul and Henry will teach because these are people that I've listened to them over and over and over. I don't know the kind of decisions you're making, but I can tell you that every single thing they have informed you about in relation to the digital space, hear my words carefully, is destiny related. If you are in Africa at this moment in history, and whatever you're building in terms of career and business, you are not intentionally integrating technology as a whole, especially the digital space, into what you're building, you are already 10 years behind history. I'm telling you, you're already 10 years behind history. And the professionals and the leaders that will stand the test of time, it doesn't matter if you're failing right now or you're struggling right now. It doesn't matter. What matters is, are you willing to pay the price to adapt and be part of history that is unfolding every single day? Every single day, history is unfolding before your very eyes. So this is not a training program that they just want to make money from you. No, it's a training program that will literally define your next 30 years. I am telling you this. Let's do a quick exercise. Everybody here right now, add 30 years to your current age. That is your true age. Add 30 years right now to your current age. And I want to tell you that whatever you decide to do with your next 30 years is critical for your destiny. And you must consciously, with very strong intentions and convictions, make sure that digital transformation is a critical skill that you are growing in terms of knowledge, in terms of skill, in terms of experimentations, and in terms of implementation. You just have to get it right. I just have to say this, because if I didn't say this as an expert in the field in terms of the business landscape and industries and where we get to anticipate where the continent is going to, I would not have contributed anything major in this particular session. So if you have been doubting if is this something I should pay attention to, please stop doubting. And what I'm also saying is that you being part of this training program, it should not stop now. Create a romantic relationship between your career or your business and you learning technology consistently. Let me say it again. If you will stand the test of time as an entrepreneur, as a professional, create a very strong, convicted relationship in terms of how much you grow in the quality of knowledge regarding technology and different digital platforms, different digital skills, and make sure you have a clear understanding of how you can integrate all of these things into destiny. So what I'm saying is that sometimes when I'm talking to my mentees, I like to ask them this question: how will this technology contribute to your rising in destiny and what you're doing? If you cannot give me an answer, go ahead and find the answer. This is not a nice to have conversation. It is a must have conversation. So somebody listening to me right now needs to make a very critical decision for destiny. You see, there's something I always teach known as destiny enhancing skills. My philosophy is that for every person on earth, there are a certain set of 5 skills. It's my personal research and conclusion. You will not see it on Google anywhere. But my conclusion after observation, studies, and analysis is that every human being on earth, if they will rise in destiny, there are certain 5 core critical skills that if you are not excellent at those skills, your destiny will struggle. If you are not excellent at those 5 destiny skills, and what I'm also saying is that if you don't know your 5 destiny enhancing skills, you also need to wake up. You also need to wake up. I want to say Zoom. Can people drop chat? Let me see here. Is it blessing somebody? Type yes in the chat box. If this is blessing you, type yes in the chat box. I want to be sure that people are getting me. Type yes in the chat box. Where can they even type yes? Henry, you're putting me to learn new things here. All right. So, but I want to be sure that people are following me. If you're following me, can you type yes or just unmute and say yes? Let me be sure that nobody's sleeping.
Yes, we are following, sir.
Awesome. So,
yes, sir.
Be on a mission. Be on a mission. Be on a mission. And I want to tell you, being good at digital skills is among your top 5 destiny enhancing skills. Because based on the generation we are in now, your digital skills will enhance your other 4 destiny enhancing skills. For example, high level training for me is a key destiny skill because of the work I do and because of my calling and what I'm sent out to do around the nations. But you see, my training skills can begin to suffer in this generation if I don't understand how to leverage on different digital platforms and skills to be able to enhance the quality of work I do across the nations. And the same for everybody on this call right now. I just have to emphasize on this. It's not my topic for today, but I felt led strongly to lay this foundation in that area. Even if I stop here, you need to get this. You need to get this. Take it to your closet. Take it to your private place and make some critical decision making. Am I operating, or do I know my destiny enhancing skills? If not, what are they? If yes, how good have I become in them? Because I'm telling you, nations will not open to you if you cannot play the big game when it comes to your top level skills. I was teaching somewhere and I said, in the marketplace, when I say marketplace, I'm talking about the global landscape. In the marketplace, where people make money and people succeed. In the marketplace, institutions and individuals only give platforms. Hear me very well. Only give platforms to people who have developed knowledge capital and reputation capital to stand on those platforms. So what I'm saying is, if you desire to travel cities and nations as a career person, as an entrepreneur, one of the things that will give you access to those platforms. You see, I made a post on LinkedIn one time and somebody came out and arguing me. I've traveled over 18 nations, 20 countries, 18 nations, 4 continents. I've never paid a flight ticket. The companies pay for it, or the people want me to pay for it. Javed, we need you here. Take your flight, get your visa, see you in 2 days. All right, let's get the job done. You see, those kind of platforms, you understand on them if you either have the knowledge capital or the skill capital to command that platform, or you have the reputation capital to stand on those platforms. These are critical things to understand because, you see, I grew up in the church. I always tell Christians, if you fast and pray for 300 days, there are some things that if we cannot find in your destiny pathways, you will not rise. I always fondly say that, David, you must be able to kill the lion and the bear in private before you can stand in public and kill Goliath. David had to develop that reputation and knowledge capital in private when nobody was watching and clapping, so that it can qualify him for public manifestation before the king and the soldiers, marketplace manifestation. So whatever you have learned in these last few days you have been here, the goal is to help you come to that dimension of manifestation. You see, when I teach things like this, I'm so passionate, especially in a younger generation, because I just know that there's no other way anybody can rise until you get these things right. There's just no other way. And we have to get them right. We have to get them right. And one thing I want to tell you is that whatever you're doing right now, in whatever level, I can guarantee you that thing that you're doing, it has the capacity to put you before nations and before kings. Your background doesn't matter. Your village doesn't matter. Whether you're born in a poor or rich family, it doesn't matter. But there are some things that when you have access to and you grow into, by divine design by God, the earth will respond to you and favor you to stand on those platforms. So we have spent days. I am just rounding up to challenge us that there is a higher call. There is a higher place. But you need to understand that with all that you have learned, if you don't understand how to maintain momentum, to maintain consistent execution, you will find it difficult to succeed at that high level. Why is that important? Because history has proven that history only favors those who take consistent action for a long period of time in the path they have chosen to build that knowledge capital and reputation capital that qualifies them to stand on that platform that they're looking for. So becoming a momentum maker, my goal is to challenge you, to bring you into that place where you have a heart posture and a mindset posture that you make up your mind that, hey, I need to maintain a certain dimension of momentum and speed, because I have also come to learn that opportunities and money and platforms follows people who are always on the move. Not on the move in terms of moving your body, but on the move in terms of execution. On the move in terms of putting to work whatever you have learned. You see, I do a lot of research and I study people a lot. In the last few years, I've spent a lot of time going 500 years backward, 200 years backward to read the history, the pathways, and the lifestyle of people who made history in their times. 2020, I spent time reading a biography of the top 100 billionaires in the world to understand their thought pattern, their lifestyles, and what they did when nobody knew them. I discovered many things. Among them was that one thing that these people were good at is that they understood the principle of maintaining sustained momentum over a long period of time, because they understand that growth can compound. Should I shock you? Anybody can study digital marketing. Anybody who can read and write. You give them internet, give them a laptop to sit on it with a teacher, give them 3 months. There is something they'll be good at. Anybody can learn anything. Anybody can become a doctor. Anybody can become an engineer. Anybody with a brain who is willing to pay the price to study can become it. But you see, when it comes to destiny, you play a bigger game because there are so many broke engineers, so many broke doctors, so many broke people with digital marketing skills. But there is a higher game that you need to play if you will truly operate in terms of success at that particular level, which is becoming a momentum maker. The mindset and the consciousness that success is not random. One of the biggest challenges I see in this generation is that people want to do tumbung boss calabar, whatever that will work, then I will succeed. No, success is precise. There are systems, there are strategies, there are frameworks, there are pathways that lead to success. You don't guesswork your way to success. You don't assume your way to success. You don't wish your way to success. No, there are things that you have to understand, that the game you have to play to get to that level. One of those major pathways is to understand if you have picked a path, if you're here, you're an entrepreneur, and you're learning digital marketing skill in order to advance your business, you have picked that pathway. You need to understand that, hey, I am going to maintain a sustained momentum. I'm going to become not just a random entrepreneur. No, I'm not going to be a random professional. No, I'm not going to be a random leader. No, I am going to be somebody with purpose and precision and strategy. And I'm going to maintain a dimension of consistency and movement and momentum and speed and execution that very few people can operate at their end. I always say something funny. If you master how to be consistent at something that are critical for your destiny, you will effortlessly become a top 1% in what you're doing. Momentum isn't random. It's well built and established. And it's a critical factor for destiny. So in this season of your life, what I'm telling you is not just because we're here for Afatma. I am giving you a destiny-altering message. You have to come to a point in destiny right now as you listen to me, where you make up your mind. My destiny pathway is more important than comfort. My destiny pathway is more important than watching too many movies. My destiny pathway is more important than being on social media aimlessly. My destiny pathway is more important than hanging around with friends who have no contribution to where I'm going to. There's a bigger mission, a bigger call. I need to break the back of survival mentality and develop the mindset of a momentum maker and a builder. Do you know something? History only favors builders. History only favors those who are making moves. What kind of moves are you going to make? Not just for now, but for a long period of time. You see, high performers don't chase motivation. They go for something bigger and more powerful. They go for sustained momentum powered by self-discipline. You see, what I'm also saying is that one time I was talking to my mentees, and I told them that if you have picked a path that you call this is your purpose pathway, your career pathway, your business pathway, your destiny pathway, and there are key things in your journey of life, in that pathway, that you have not done consistently every day for at least 5 years, you are still joking with your destiny. There are dimensions of growth that you will not break into it if you are inconsistent with certain critical habits or actions or skills as far as your destiny is concerned. So my purpose of today is just to challenge you. In this moment in history, any young person can literally make it. I know it's a bold statement to make, but I will defend it. In this moment in history, any young person from any location in the world can make it. If you have access to a mobile phone that can connect to internet, you have the possibility of making it at any moment. But you see, that requires a certain level of high responsibility, and you playing not just the game, but the long-term game, where your mission is that I will maintain a certain level of momentum until I become the top 1% in my industry or the top 10% in my industry. I used to fondly say, and I still say it right now, I've said it on GoMart platforms and different platforms in Camera. I used to say it like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and I used to say that in this path I have chosen, I am going to work so hard to become so good at what I do that nobody can ignore me. And not just a one-time working hard, but a sustained level of working hard. You see, for everybody on this call right now, you cannot lead your generation by doing the things that people in your generation do. What am I saying? You cannot lead your generation by thinking the way people in your generation think, by acting the way they act, by consuming the same thing that they consume, by speaking the same way that they speak. You will blend in, and the societal stereotypes and the society itself will keep you in the same bondage that people who grew up in the same environment like you are going through the same bondage. But the day you play a different game, where you make up your mind, I will not consume what they consume. I will not think the way they think. I will not speak the way they speak. I will not behave the way they behave. You may be in the same environment right now. I guarantee you, if you maintain that kind of mindset consistently, you will break out. The society where you are will vomit you out and say, no, go. You have passed our level. We can no longer keep you in the same bondage like the masses because you have broken out of that system. And it takes responsibility. It takes commitment. Like I always say, for example, there's nothing, you see, it is so much fun and exciting to watch movies for 4 hours. There's nothing too much fun about reading books for 4 hours, synthesizing, analyzing, asking questions, writing stuff here and there, questioning things, contributing, creating strategies and frameworks, applying them in your life, in your career, in your business for yourself, and failing, losing money, doing different things. That is not fun. But that is a pathway for generational disruptors. That's a pathway for people that break through and changes things that others could not change. What will it be for you after this boot camp that you have been part of? Are you going back to the same life that you had before this moment? Or after this talk right now, you're making new, fresh decisions that will alter your destiny for good? Remember, the marketplace, and that's the only place where the game of wealth creation is played, in the marketplace, not in your father's house, not in your church, not in your school, not where you meet your friends. The game of wealth creation is played in the marketplace. And for you to have access to the platforms that will position you for wealth creation, you need to bring something to the marketplace that will cause them to give you wealth. Knowledge capital, skill capital, reputation capital. Be able to create value that can cause the marketplace to give you something in return for what you bring to the platforms. That doesn't happen by guesswork. That doesn't happen by assumption. It happens through consistent strategies, persistent execution, the willingness to learn, unlearn, relearn, adapt, execute, Fail, wake up, do it again. Fail, wake up, do it again until you get it right. Last point, and I take questions. And my last point to you will be a question to you. We live in a generation where there are things that happen at so much speed that only people who are also moving at the same speed can catch up. You see, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in a village or a town or a city, a developing country or a developed country. The world is moving at a high speed. Are you adapting to how the world is moving, or you are being left behind? And of course, the purpose of you being part of a program that includes technology or digital skills is a way that God is calling. I say, hey, look, where the world is going to, if you don't have access to these things, you're going to struggle. Therefore, you need to wake up and take advantage of these things. So I want to encourage you. Be a momentum maker. If you wake up from this call right now and go back to inconsistent habits, go back to inconsistent actions, go back to inconsistent ways of doing things that will change your destiny, you have chosen the pathway of the masses and people who attend the school of the poor. But if you want to attend the school of the rich, the school of the wealthy, the school of the elite, one major course in that school is to become a momentum maker, a highly disciplined professional. When you understand these are the moving parts that will change my destiny. You see, I'm not telling you from theory. I know exactly 2012 in Kumbo, I could identify that, hey, these are things in your life that if you do them consistently and become so good at it, truly, nations will call for you. It did not take up to 4 years. What I thought would take longer than that started happening. And I can tell you, you see, in my work, I get to meet people who have done amazing things in their lives. Top leaders from different nations, and those people did not get there by guesswork. If you see their work ethic, you see their routines and their journeys and their pathways, you will understand that the path to the top, anybody can get to it. But is it easy? No. Is it possible? Yes. Can you make the decision today that in your next 5 years, your next 10 years, your life will be the total opposite for good, because you have adopted certain things and you have developed certain dimensions of execution that an average person cannot find. I said earlier on, and I said that if you are going to lead your generation, if your generation will run to you and seek you for counsel, for whatever, you have to beat the game. You have to stop doing what they do, thinking the way they think, going where they go, and reverse engineer the whole thing and do almost the opposite. You see, for example, I don't watch movies. I have time that I'm on social media. If you see me on social media and you write me and I reply, you're very lucky. There's something I call information diet. There are things that my eyes cannot see, my ears cannot hear. My brain is one of the most powerful engines that God gave me, and every human being. So the more I guard it and refine it and perfect it and harness it, the more I create value at a higher level. So you need to make some decisions that will either make your destiny, or you don't make the decisions and the society where you are will make them for you and keep you in bondage. And I guarantee you, if you're living life by chance and by guesswork, your society will make the decisions for you and keep you in the same bondage that the people who went ahead of you have been going through the same bondage. Please live here with a strong decision. From today, I am a consistent momentum maker. These are the 4 things, 5 things, 6 things, 2 things, whatever, that I'm going to do consistently throughout this year for the next 10 years. And I know that the more I do these things, the more I'm going to scale up my value at the high level. Because premium value does not come from thin air. No. Premium value comes from a consistent momentum maker who has identified the key things that he or she will consistently do that will compound over time and create a dimension of value that an average person cannot produce. An average person cannot produce. So make some decisions, shift some perspective, change some stuff, give yourself a few months, a few years. I guarantee you, your destiny will definitely take a better turn than where you are right now. We are all in different levels. I don't know whether you're starting, whether you're growing, or you're in a phase where you feel that you have arrived. You're making millions every month. I don't know whatever phase you are, but I can tell you that there's a bigger phase than where you are. Where you are right now, in the eyes of God, is just your introductory phase. There's a bigger manifestation waiting for you, and you need to wake up to it. All right. My mission for today is done. If there are questions, you can ask me now, and I will happily respond to them.
Wow. It was like I was drinking some fresh wine from fresh bottle, from